Hi everybody, I'm Pia with Stitches and Scraps, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about cables. Cables are really versatile and you can do all sorts of different things with them, but a lot of people find them a little intimidating. And I think part of the reason is because they use these crazy symbols and abbreviations that don't seem to make any sense. Well, here's the thing though. Every part of these abbreviations tells you something that you need to know about the cable. So if you understand what the abbreviations are telling you, cables don't have to be so confusing. So today I'm going to teach you the language of cables, and I'm going to show it to you using Licorice, because when using Licorice is an option, using Licorice is always the best option. So here I've made some beautiful stockinette stitch. Each of these pieces of Licorice is one column of knit stitches, and everything's nice and straight and flat. Well, we'll pretend it's straight. So the general idea of a cable, right, is that you're going to cross stitches over other stitches. Basically, you're going to work them out of order. So normally I would work this stitch, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, this one, this one, and that one, right? What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to work them out of order. And like, suppose I was to pick this one up and work this one first and then work this one. Well, now it's crossed them over and I've made a little cross. That's a cable. That is really all cables are, is working the stitches out of order in a specific way. So what is that specific way? Well, let's take a look at our abbreviations. The first thing to look at is this slash in between the numbers. When you see that, read that as over. Okay, so this becomes 2 over 2. 2 over 2. These ones down here are 2 over 1. Well, what is that telling us? That's telling us that we're going to take two strands and we're going to put them over two other strands, right? We're going to take two stitches and put them over two other stitches. Now we may put them over to the left like that, or we may put them over to the right like this. And that's what the next part tells us. So 2 over 2, and then this means right cross, and this means left cross. So let's look at the 2 over 2 left cross. Two strands, two stitches, go over two other stitches so that the ones in front are leaning to the left. So that means that these two stitches, we would pick these up and put them over these two stitches, because now that makes them lean to the left, right? These stitches are leaning to the left. So if we're doing, let me move this a little bit closer. I'm going to get rid of some of these extra strands too. So here we have a 2 over 2 left cross. Okay, that is what 2 over 2 LC means. So you can guess what a 2 over 2 right cross means. 2 over 2 right cross means we're picking up these two stitches and we're bringing them over these ones, because when we do that, it's crossing to the right. So this is a 2 over 2 right cross. So how does that work when you're actually working it in knitting? Well, let's go back to the left cross. If I was knitting across my stitches and I come to these 4 stitches, I want to work these ones first and then work these ones, because that's what's going to make them cross over, right? So I need to get these out of the way. Well, if I hold these out of the way in the front like this, and then I work these two, I'm going to hold these out of the way. This finger here is my cable needle. This finger is holding those stitches that I don't want to work yet, and it's holding them in the front out of the way. So then I'm going to work these two, and that pulls them over this way. Now I work these two, and I can work them straight off of my cable needle. And when I do that, look what happens. They cross over. So now I have a 2 over 2 left cross. Now if I wanted a right cross, I still want to work these stitches first and then work these stitches. But I want these stitches to be on top. Well, that means I have to hold these ones to the back out of the way behind my work. Okay, so that when I work these, they come across over the top, because these are held to the back, right? So these come across over the top. I work those, and now these ones peek out from behind, and I work those. Now look what I have. I have a 2 over 2 right cross. Okay, that is left crossing and right crossing cables. Now it doesn't always have to be 2 over 2. Maybe I wanted to cross 2 stitches over 1 stitch. Okay, and this one's just straight. This one keeps going where it was. Well, what would this be called? Well, let's see. This is 2 stitches over the top of 1 stitch. So this is a 2 over 1 right cross. Okay, how would that be done? We want to work these 2 stitches first, and we want this stitch to be held out of the way behind. So we would put 1 stitch on the cable needle and hold it behind our work, and then take these 2 stitches and bring them up and work them. And then this one peeks out from behind and we work that one. That's how you do a 2 over 1, sorry, not that one, ignore that. That's how you do a 2 over 1 right cross, okay, which isn't in this list. Now, if you wanted to do a 2 over 1 left cross, suppose I wanted these 2 stitches and I want to pull them over this one, well, I would do these 2 first and hold them in the front, and then I would do this one so it goes to the back, and then I work these 2 again because they were sitting in the front. Now they cross over the top. Oops, there we go. Now they cross over the top. So now I have a 2 over 1 left cross. Starting to make a little more sense? Okay, let's throw some purls in just to confuse everything. If you don't see anything saying whether it's a knit stitch or a purl stitch, like this one just says 2 over 2 left cross, well then you can assume that you're knitting all the stitches. Okay, when you see the P in there, that's a 2 over 2 left purl cross. So what that's telling me is that the stitches underneath, whichever stitches are underneath, whether it's these stitches underneath or these stitches underneath, the ones underneath are going to be purls. The stitches on top are always going to be knit stitches. So when you do your cross, whichever stitches are on top are always going to be knit stitches unless there's something weird in your pattern. So let's look at this one, the 2 over 2 left purl cross. So we know that 2 over 2 left cross is this, right? Because it's 2 stitches over 2 stitches crossing to the left. Now that P, what that means is that instead of knitting these 2 stitches, the ones underneath, we're going to purl those 2 stitches. So that's the only thing that makes it a 2 over 2 left purl cross instead of a left cross. So how is that done when we knit? Well, we're starting with our 4 stitches, okay? We don't want to knit these ones first, we want to knit these ones first. And we want these to cross over the top, so these are the ones that we're going to hold in the front. Now we know these are the ones that are going to be on top, right? So these ones are going to be on the bottom, which means that we purl these. So the way this reads when you do it, slip these 2 stitches onto your cable needle. Hold them in the front of your work. Purl the next 2 stitches from your left needle, and then knit these 2 stitches from your cable needle. So now we have 2 purl stitches in the back and 2 knit stitches in the front. And that's how you do a 2 over 2 left purl cross. So the right purl cross, when you look at that, we want these ones to be in front, right? Because we want them to cross over this way. So these ones are going to be in back. So what it's going to say is slip these 2 to your cable needle, then knit these 2. So see how we're knitting first this time? Because these are the ones that are going to be on top, right? So knit those 2, and then purl these 2 off of your cable needle. So you still have the 2 on the bottom that are purl and the 2 on the top that are knit. This time we're crossing to the right. So let me go down this list and I'm going to show you all of these cables, what they look like in Licorice. So a 2 over 2 left cross, we've seen that a couple times now. You slip these to the cable needle, hold them in front, knit these 2, and then knit the 2 off of your cable needle. That is a 2 over 2 left cross. For a 2 over 2 right cross, you slip these to your cable needle, hold them in back, knit these, and then knit these ones from the back. That is a 2 over 2 right cross. So the next one here is the 2 over 2 left purl cross, which we already talked about. slip these, hold them in the front, purl these, and then knit these. So you can see it's the same thing as the 2 over 2 left cross. We're just purling these underneath stitches instead of knitting them. Only difference. So the same thing holds true for the 2 over 2 right purl cross. We're going to this time hold these ones in the back, knit these because they're going to be on top, and then purl these because they're the ones in the back. Okay, so again, same thing as the 2 over 2 right cross, it's just that you're purling the ones that are in the back. Now here's where you got to be careful. We get the 2 over 1 crosses, okay? 2 over 1 means that whichever stitches are on top are the ones where there's going to be 2. It is not saying that you slip 2 stitches each time. Do you see this? For the left cross we slip 2. For the right cross we only slip 1. Why is that? Okay, well let's look at the left purl cross. 2 over 1, right? So let's get rid of this extra one. We don't need that. We want these 2 to go over this 1. So we're going to slip these 2 and hold them in the front, because these 2 are the ones that are going to be on top, and then we knit that one, purl that one because it's a purl cross, so purl that one that's going to be underneath, and then knit these 2 so that they're on top. Okay, that is a 2 over 1 left purl cross. Now how come for a 2 over 1 right purl cross we're only slipping 1? Well, if we slipped 2 and then we worked this stitch and it crossed over, we only have 1 stitch on top. That's not what we want. We want 2 stitches on top because it's 2 over 1. So what we have to do is we just slip 1 and keep it in back. These 2 are the ones that are going to be on top. So we slip this one, hold it in the back, knit these 2 because they're the ones that are going to be on top, and then purl this one that's going to be in the back. So if you look at your abbreviations and then look at your stitches and figure out which stitches need to go where, that will help you to work the cables without even needing to read all these long instructions. The instructions are there, so they validate what you're looking at, and it is good to read them, but you don't have to memorize them. You know that, hey, I've got 3 stitches here. Somehow this abbreviation is telling me that I have to get these 2 on top of this one, and that I got to purl that one. So you don't need the instructions to do it. You can just figure out that, okay, these 2 are the ones I got to do first, and they're going to be knit, and then this one's going to be purl, and it's got to come out from behind, so I got to hold it at the back. And that is basically the language of cables. Now let's look at these diagrams, and I will grant you that mine aren't necessarily the most perfect ones, but if you look at this, this is about as wide. See this? Hang on, I need a pointing thing. Here we go. This piece here, this section, this is on top, and it's about as wide as this section here. So you can see that this section is crossing over that section, so it's crossing to the left, and both sections are equal. So that is my 2 over 2. I'm going to show you next to the diagram so you can see. That is my 2 over 2 left cross. So here is this section that's crossing over the top. That is this. Okay? Here is this section that's crossing out from underneath. That is this. So this is really a picture of the actual cable. So you can see on this one, well, it looks the same as that, but it's crossing the other way, right? So this is a 2 over 2 right cross. Well, what's the deal with this one? It's shaded in the back. That means that it's still a 2 over 2 left cross, just like this one, but the stitches in the back are purled. So that is my 2 over 2 left purl cross. Now this one is the same as the 2 over 2 right cross, right? 2 stitches go over 2 stitches. This one is in the front, so this is a right cross, and these ones are shaded, so that means that they're purls. So 2 over 2 right purl cross. Here you can see that the shaded section, the section behind, is smaller, and it should be half the size. I think I was off a little bit, but it should be about half the size of this big section, because this big section is 2 stitches and this small section is 1 stitch. So that is a 2 over 1 left purl, because it's shaded, cross. 2 over 1 left purl cross. Same way here, 2 over 1 right purl cross. I hope that helps understand the language of the cables a little better, so that you don't feel quite so lost as to which abbreviation you're looking at when you're trying to figure out what cable to do. And I guess my last piece of advice for working cables is don't eat your yarn, unless of course it's licorice.